Hello, Taekwondo world, to this special day. Today we are celebrating 70 years of Taekwondo, and I welcome in particular all of our ITF officials, Grandmasters and Masters. My name is Daniel Schmidt, and I am your moderator for this session. And before we officially start, and please excuse the little delay, um, I want to say a few things on the technical side. We are recording this session, and we want to upload the session later to our YouTube channel. So during the recording, we record the speaker and what is shown in the main frame. If you want to say something, if you want to ask something later on, you are free, but please be aware you will be recorded as well. If you don't want to be recorded, just write your question in the chat and the moderator will take over. We also have closed captions, subtitles. They can be translated. You can activate it for yourself just in the Zoom application, and you can choose your language that is suitable to you. Okay, this was my technical side. And now I am truly honored to have the ITF president here, Grandmaster Paul Weiler, who is officially opening the session. Grandmaster, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sabum Daniel. Dear Grandmasters, Masters and instructors all over the world, dear board and committee members, dear lecturers and organizing team members. On behalf of the ITF Board of Directors, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all. The 11th April 2025 marks the 17th anniversary of the introduction of Taekwondo by its founder, General Chair Hong-Hee. And we have taken this anniversary as an opportunity to hold a special event. The Taekwondo 70 Global Online event is a comprehensive 24-hour live event to celebrate 70 years of Taekwondo and will feature tasks, demonstrations, and online classes with leading Taekwondo practitioners and icons of Taekwondo. The 24-hour online session is a tribute to the 24 patterns in ITF Taekwondo, which symbolize a whole day and the entire life of the father of Taekwondo, General Che. Accordingly, each session will be dedicated to a pattern, starting with Chon-Ji in the first session and ending with Tong-Il in the 24th session. And each hour will begin with a pre-recorded pattern performed by a current or former world champion. We follow the event around the globe to symbolize that General Che's Taekwondo is practiced worldwide. You can find the program, by the way, on the ITF website. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone involved in making this event possible, especially the organizing team and all the instructors who play their part. I wish the event the best possible success and will be seeing you often throughout the day or throughout the night. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Thank you, Grandmaster. Now we are able to continue and start of our. So now here it is. The official celebration. As mentioned, we are celebrating 70 years of Taekwondo. Whether you're joining from Asia, from Europe, Americas, Africa, or Oceania, we are honored to have you here for this 24-hour global online celebration. You can join whenever you want. I know it's a long day. 24 hours is long and it feels like eternity, but this is our intention. We have 24 patterns, we have 24 hours, we have 24 sessions. We have a bit more than 24 speakers, and we truly celebrate this part. We do this, as mentioned by our president, to represent the 24 hours of a day, symbolizing the eternity and the entirety of a life dedicated to self-improvement, learning, and perseverance. As mentioned, you can expect 24 hours of different discussions, live training sessions, and stories from Taekwondo legends. We have chosen speakers from all over the world, from New Zealand to the US, from Argentina to Finland, from Kyrgyzstan to Ethiopia. If you want to go and check out the session and the schedule, as mentioned on the ITF website, we will keep the updated schedule. And now, without further ado, let's get started. In this first session, we start with the first pattern. You all know it. It is Chon-Ji.
시작. 바로.
What an inspiring performance of Chon-Ji by Alicja Slian from Poland. And Chon-Ji is the pattern representing this hour of our 24-hour global celebration. And just as each pattern holds deep meaning and symbolism, each session today brings new insights into the past, present, and future of Taekwondo. And here we start. Now it's time for our first speaker. For this session, we are proud to have Master Virginia Dionisi from Belgium with us, who will be sharing, one second, it is Chon-Ji. Her title is Chon-Ji, from the first movement to a lasting legacy. We are honored to have you here, and let's properly welcome our speaker and bow to her, Jed Jungni. Master, are you here?
Yes, hello. Hello, Daniel. Thank you very much for the invitation. They are grandmasters, masters, Taekwondo practitioners. It is a huge honor to be here today celebrating 70 years of Taekwondo. I don't need to explain a lot what Taekwondo means for all of us. I think it is simply part of our life. And every day we breathe, we take breakfast, dinner, etc. Taekwondo is with us. So I think it is the most important. It's a martial art that shaped generations of practitioners, but also cultivated global spirit of discipline and unity around the world. And for me, this is one of the most important things. Just like life, Taekwondo begins, as Daniel said, with a very single step. And today for us is Chon-Ji. So what I am going to do with Chon-Ji today, I will interpret Chon-Ji in a very broad sense. I think we all know the literal interpretation. We all know that means heaven and earth, represents creation, the beginning of human history. But in a very broad sense, we also can interpret Chon-Ji as the beginning of everything. Every journey in Taekwondo starts with that very first pattern, the very first technique that we learn and the first choreography we learn in the dojang. The first breath in the dojang, it is where we all began, and regardless where we are or from where we come from. So for me, Chon-Ji is not just a pattern, it's not just a simple pattern. It is a symbol. To me, it represents beginnings in general, but also represents new beginnings. It speaks about courage, creativity, and change. So today, I will explore with you Chon-Ji with this view in 4 different ways. Taking the first step, breaking barriers, daring to innovate, and embracing change. So let's start with the first one. Chon-Ji as taking the first step. And we will analyze together different moments that we all, or some of us, live during Taekwondo. After generals pass away, General Che Hong-hee, we all have a very big problem, and we needed to resolve something very important. How do we preserve his legacy and maintain the technical foundation he built? So ITF needed to resolve this issue, what was, of course, not easy. And rather than appointing a single successor to preserve and develop the technical legacy, the International Taekwondo Federation, following its democratic procedures, decided to make a very important move. And this is when they decided to create a committee. One single person could not replace General Chon-Ji, but a complete committee. And this is why, or how, in 2022, the ITF Technical and Instruction Committee was born, with Grandmaster Marano as chairman, and Grandmasters Pablo Trachtenberg and Wim Bos as members. This was the very first technical committee. And together and around a complete decade, they were traveling all around the world, giving seminars. I think we all had the chance to enjoy, or many of us, probably not the youngest, but many of us had the chance to enjoy these very first international instructors courses with these instructors. Later on, there were some changes in the committee, of course, for different reasons, and another grandmasters joined, like Grandmaster Clint Norman, Grandmaster Paul Weiler, who is today the president of our ITF Federation. Later on, Grandmaster Land from Germany joined, and then Grandmaster Lacker from Canada, Grandmaster MacPhail from New Zealand, Grandmaster Jedut from Poland, and finally, myself. So today, the committee has conducted nearly 200 seminars all around the world, with a very important task of trying to standardize technique and preserve the legacy of the founder of Taekwondo. Something that I would like to share with you was a very important or touching moment that the technical committee lived in Malaysia some years ago. I was not present, but during an IIC in Malaysia, they decided to go to visit a parking place that was in the past the place where the Korean embassy was built. And why it was so special? It was so special because in this place, in the Korean embassy, 15 of our patterns were created, including Chon-Ji, of course. And so what they did, they performed all together Chon-Ji in this parking place. I think this is a very symbolic moment and very special. I believe, well, Grandmaster Marano was there, Grandmaster Lang, Grandmaster MacPhail, and of course, some instructors and Taekwondo practitioners from Malaysia. This is something nice. And I think nowadays, Chon-Ji represents a lot. In many events, we perform Chon-Ji all together as a symbol of unity. It's something that we all can do regardless of our age, our graduation, and it means for me, unity. When we are talking also about taking the first step, we must remember all the pioneers and all the instructors that did this very important first step. How did we disseminate Taekwondo? How did we promote Taekwondo? Why Taekwondo is so well known today? And there are so many practitioners. It was thanks to the hard work of all these pioneers and instructors that in each country, in every corner of the world, were teaching Taekwondo, as probably many of you are doing today. Thanks to the work of all instructors, we have Taekwondo. So here it is my message to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for being part of the Taekwondo family. And thank you for using your time and your dedication to teach and transfer your knowledge with others. Now, my second way to interpret or to see Chon-Ji, breaking barriers. Because for me, breaking barriers is also, in a way, a beginning. So, from the beginning, Taekwondo has been about breaking through, but not only boards. We don't only break objects. We also break something more important. We break barriers of limitation, barriers of expectation. We can do things that others say that cannot be done. So through my Taekwondo path, I have always perceived, and this is my personal opinion, General Che Hong-hee as a person who embraced inclusion. And why I said that? I am 50 years now, but the first time I met General Che Hong-hee, I was 16. For me, he always believed that the role of women in Taekwondo was very important. And he showed it with actions, very clear actions. And a power example of this was during the World Championship that was held in Argentina, in Chaco, in the year 1982, where Grandmaster Azucena Sorzón, today Grandmaster, competed and was world champion. She was one of the first ladies world champions in the world. At that time, very long, very long time ago. That moment in history proved something very important, that even back then, there was a space for women in Taekwondo. And of course, it was not clear. I don't say that this was an easy journey for ladies, but it was a beginning. At that moment, I think the barrier began to crack. And I know that ITF is working very hard on this, the European Federation as well, and I think we all trying to change things and breaking barriers. In December 2023, I became member of the technical committee of ITF. And it was the first time that a lady was appointed member of this committee. So this was another important moment in the Taekwondo life for ladies. It was, of course, a long journey. It was the culmination of a 2 years work, collaborating with the committee, learning and growing little by little. It was not easy, of course, because, well, just because of the prestige the committee holds, but especially it was not easy for me for what the committee represents to me. For me, it represents excellence, tradition, and deep responsibility, all overall. And of course, this appointment changed my entire perspective in my Taekwondo life. And I would like to share with you a memory that I had with the General Che Hong-hee, because for me, Taekwondo is the General Che Hong-hee, basically, and the legacy he left for us. And when I was 16 years, I attended for the first time an international instructor's course. It was my birthday gift, I remember. It was in the city of Buenos Aires, and I traveled there. I was completely overexcited because I wanted to see the founder of Taekwondo. And at the end of the IIC, but of course, you know, you go to an IIC, you are first degree, you have 16 years, so you are at the back, in the last line at the back. You almost don't see him. You almost cannot hear him. You know, super difficult. He was untouchable, really untouchable. But what happened? After the course, we had a banquet, as usual. And during the banquet, I was with another ladies of the Argentinian team. And he approached to us, he smiled, and he started to dance with us. So we said, oh my God, this cannot be possible. This is something I am dreaming. But no, it was the truth. He was very social outside the martial environment of the international course, and he always had very nice humor. So at the end of the day, you know, we were a little group of ladies, you know, dancing with General Chon-Ji and having this memory in our hearts forever. And this day I understood something, and I said, well, in Taekwondo, nothing is impossible. And this is a little bit the message I want to pass today. Break the barriers, but not just the barriers in front of you, but especially break the barriers inside you. Well, saying that, now I would like to explore with you my third interpretation of Chon-Ji. Dare to be creative and innovate. Because also means, or in a certain way, represents a beginning. So my question to everyone is, how can we innovate while honoring tradition and legacy? General Chon-Ji certainly believed we could do it. And for me, he was a true visionary in his time. He created the 15 volumes encyclopedia we have today. That was something completely new for this time. But he didn't stop. Years later, he created the encyclopedia in CD-ROM. Probably many of you remember it. And where he added videos to improve what he already created. It was a huge change, and it was an immense progress, because what happened at that time is that people were learning the patterns with the encyclopedia, and there were mistakes, because sometimes you do not understand how do you need to move, how do you need to turn, etc. So with the videos, he tried to improve and to correct all these difficulties that people face in real life. Well, later on, of course, he introduced the sine wave that revolutionized the way to generate power in Taekwondo-ITF, and that really made a difference between Taekwondo and the other martial arts. He also supported a dedicated children's program, understanding the importance of adapting teaching for the little ones. Probably today, everything sounds very normal and natural, but you need to go back at that time, where all these things were not so normal and not so natural. So I think he also started or commended the important task of analyzing how to introduce pre-arranged free sparring in competitions, pushing the boundaries of competition and opening new dimensions in our art. Well, so I was always inspired by him. As I said, for me, he was a true visionary in this time. And I think a moment in our Taekwondo life where we all needed to get inspired for this spirit of innovation was during the COVID-19 pandemic, where I think we all suffered a lot. None of us knew that or how it could come, but as an instructor, I felt, and I believe all of you, I felt a deep moral responsibility, not just to continue teaching, but to be a pillar of support for my students. It demanded real creativity and leadership for all of us. And for one complete year almost, depending on the country, of course, personally, I needed to push my limits for every lesson, trying to search fun solutions, effective techniques, ways to engage my students to do Taekwondo online. I will never forget, one particular class. After the lesson, one of the youngest students surprised us with a birthday cake. It was a little kid of 5 years old. And when the lesson finished, he came directly with the cake. We showed us, and of course, we all sing together. And he was so happy. I will never forget his face. That moment was a reminder of that what we were doing went far beyond kicks and punches. We were building together joy. We were building resilience, and especially connection. We were teaching with purpose, with real purpose, and we were fulfilling a social responsibility. I don't know what do you feel or what was your personal experience, but I believe in general, we all felt the same, and it was very important. So this is another important message I wanted to pass today. With the same spirit of creativity, some years ago, a new idea was born for competitions. That was to create a master's category for tool competitions, with the idea of simply giving the opportunity to masters to shine or to shine again, because in general, masters were already competitors in the past. And also to show to our youngest generations the last 3 patterns that are not used in competition. So this is something that was very well received for Grandmaster Marano in the technical committee, and was very well received as well for the chairman of the umpire committee. And it was included during the Pan American Championships in Latin America, and it was a real success. So maybe in the future, we can have as well these nice moves in the rest of our federation. Well, something that I wanted to do or to share with you to close this part is because for me, the real heart of Chon-Ji is this, the beginning, but also the courage to imagine what has never been done before, to create, to evolve, and to do so while honoring tradition and legacy. The fourth step, or the fourth way in which I want to explore Chon-Ji, is embracing change. Why? Because every change represents a beginning or a new beginning. And let me ask you something. What keeps you going after decades doing Taekwondo? Where do you find your motivation? And how does this motivation evolve over time? We don't have all the time the same type of motivation. Maybe you are a competitor, maybe you are a coach, a referee, an instructor, or simply someone who just loves putting on the dobok and stepping onto the dojang and train and just enjoy the atmosphere of the dojang or the good energy. The beauty of Taekwondo is that there is a space for all of us. I began my journey 42 years ago. I have practiced as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. I have been competitor. I have been coach of the Belgian national team. I am still working as technical director of my schools. I work as umpire. I was event organizer. And for the past 3.5 years, I have worked also as vice president of the European Federation. But today I have the honor of contributing with the technical committee as well. So what I want to say is that I started teaching when I was 14. Probably this is the thing that always stays. But for the rest, my Taekwondo life always changed, always evolved. And I could have found motivation through many, many different ways. And I have the proud to say that during all these 42 years, I never need to change federations. I never need to change instructors. I could always keep working with my same instructors and honoring, my original instructors and seniors. I never felt the need to practice any other martial art. And I never need to do different combat sports or trying something different. And why? Because Taekwondo has given me everything. Probably I was lucky, but I think it is also because Taekwondo gives us the opportunity to grow in different directions. It gives us the freedom to evolve, to reinvent ourselves, and to choose the path we want to have. It challenges us not only to be better martial artists, but also to be better people, to be the best person I can be. And I would like to leave you with a question, something to think about. What is your Taekwondo dream? First thing. Second thing, and perhaps more important than the first one, is this dream allowed to change? Can it change and can it evolve over time? I just want to tell you that Chon-Ji reminds us that every day is a new beginning. Please keep it in your heart. From today to tomorrow, we move forward. Honoring tradition, yes, this is very important, but also embracing change. And to close, I just would like to invite you during the week, during a moment, during this weekend, to take a quiet moment for you. Reflect on your Taekwondo path. Visualize yourself training, not just now, but in the years to come. Renew your commitment for Taekwondo, to train your body and to train your mind, and uphold the tenets of Taekwondo with you: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. To honor the past and everything you have done, but also to shape your future. And always remember what Chon-Ji teaches us today. Every first step can lead to a lasting legacy. Thank you for your attention, and I wish everyone a very powerful and energizing and inspiring Taekwondo celebration during these 2 days. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Master. This is really an inspiring start for this celebration. It is about Chon-Ji. It is about a start of every day again. It's really great. I wanted to open the Q&A a little bit. There is only a few questions, but one comment I wanted to make. We have at the moment in the chat Grandmaster George Vitale, an expert on the history of Taekwondo, commenting a little bit, on some minor details. But I wanted to take this opportunity to advertise now at the very beginning that he will be our closing speaker in, well, now a little bit less than 23 hours or 23 hours. And he will have an interview. We have a pre-recorded interview with him about the history of Taekwondo. Master, we received one question in the chat, which is, will there be ever an Irish person on the committee? I think it is referring to the technical and instruction committee.
Okay.
I wanted to comment from the ITF side. At the moment, Irish persons are really strong in the ITF Federation. They are chairing 3 of our at least 3 of our committee of our standing committees: the athletes committee, the coaches committee, and the medical and instruction committee. But what is your take on will there ever be someone else in the technical instruction committee? What do you think?
Well, you know, the technical and instruction committee is very special. The chairman is, of course, Grandmaster Marano. And the difference with the other committees is that it's a group of people that really needs to work close and together. We have regular conversations, you know, every week. We are all the time in contact. It's not just about traveling and giving seminars, because probably from outside, this is what people see, but in reality, it's completely different. You know, we have the important task of a standardized Taekwondo all around the world and take decisions. And how do we take these decisions? This is the real the real challenge. Decisions are not taken in 5 minutes. Decisions in general take 2 years. And also, to include new members in the technical committee, the process is very long. It's not just sending your CV or your application. But of course, you can do, everyone can be member of the technical committee. Do not misunderstand what I said. Everyone has the possibility, of course. The point is that you need to work closely with the grandmasters. And in my personal case, this is how it happens. It was a process that took around 2 years, working in different IICs, learning. In my case, I am the junior member, so I have a lot to learn, you know. It was very challenging to be part of this committee with such incredible grandmasters besides me. So being part of the technical committee, as I said, everyone can do it. You need to be close. You need to be very open-minded. You need to be humble as well, and with eager to learn and to transfer knowledge.
May I follow up on this one? How do you well see your work in the committee? You mentioned the steady discussions and the traveling. And how often do you travel? I don't know if everyone knows of IICs. I think a lot of our more than 100 members at this time know it and have been to IICs, but maybe there's some color belts that have not been to IICs.
Okay, maybe
So,
I will explain what it is an IIC first. IIC means International Instructors Course. Is a course for black belts only. The idea, of course, you analyze and you go through many different disciplines of Taekwondo, but mainly you analyze patterns, because this is where we have the main discussion. Sometimes it's easy to copy what you can see in a picture in the encyclopedia. The problem is that there are many things or many pictures that are not clear or not clear enough, or that can be subject of different interpretations. And so imagine, especially in the past, communication was different. So the grandmasters of each country could have different interpretations, because of course this is valid. This is how do you understand and how do you feel it should be done. So what the technical committee is doing, trying to get decisions and standardize all these gaps that are not resolved by the encyclopedia itself, and transferring this knowledge. And of course, the basic knowledge as well. So in the International Instructors course, you have different instructors. You will work in some occasions as a whole group all together, and then the group in general is divided by belts to go through different details. So this is an instructor's course. About trips, we have instructors at the moment present in the different continents. So about traveling, the idea is that the one nearest to the place goes to the IIC. Yes, this is also to avoid the problem of costs, of course.
But you mentioned nearest. Nearest can still be 2,000 kilometers.
Yeah,
For the
of
nearest
course, of
city,
course.
so
This could be nearest. This could be nearest.
it's not like a 20-kilometer ride. So
Of course,
sometimes
of
it's
course.
a lot
And then, of
different.
course, the senior grandmasters must always be present
Definitely,
because
yeah.
it's clear.
One last question from my side, a personal one. How often do you teach IICs through a year? Just about, to give an
2
example.
times per year, more or
Okay,
less.
it's the
Yes.
the
So
start.
it's something that you can combine with your personal life or with your professional life. It's not a
Okay.
full-time job.
At this time, I assume you
At this
mentioned the
time,
senior
exactly,
grandmasters.
exactly. I think for Grandmaster Marano or Grandmaster Lam, probably, yes, it is a full-time job. They are all the time teaching and traveling and teaching because they really teach everywhere. And when you go to an IIC, it's not just the time that you pass, you know, inside the dojang, conducting the seminar is all the time. We also have pre-meetings, meetings after, you know, to discuss the questions, to compare, to share, you know, to clarify things. So it's really a 24 hours work.
Then yes.
Usually, you know, the funny thing is when I was competitor, during long competitions, I always lose around 2 kilograms during the competitions. When I go to an IIC, it's the same. I always lost around 2 kilos during the IIC. And I am just teaching, eh?
Very impressive. Okay, I wanted to ask if there's another question coming up. If not, I wanted to mention this was Chon-Ji, was the beginning, the first hour that we had. And in IICs, at least what I have seen in the last years, we start with Chon-Ji. We start with Chon-Ji practicing everyone together, symbolizing the importance of this beginning. So on this note, thank you very much for your inspiring talk here. I hope everyone was still able to follow. There were some technical difficulties, but I'm sure this is something that will be remembered. And I'm really honored to have you here, Virginia. It's always a nice pleasure to talk to you, and I'm totally inspired and now psyched for the
The same.
next
Okay, this
episode.
was the idea. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay, then with this, we thank you again, Master Virginia Dionisi from Belgium, talking about the importance of Chon-Ji and the first movement and the lasting legacy. We will now have a short break and for the next 10 minutes, and in the next full hour we start again with the next speaker, which is Sabum Brandon Dugan from New Zealand, who will talk and tell us something about storytelling in Taekwondo, something I have not heard yet. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Thanks again and see you soon.